LeBron James and the Lakers blown out by Minnesota last night, 109-80. LeBron tied a season low with 10 points on 4 of 16 shooting from the field. It's his 6th straight game shooting below 45%. It's his longest streak doing that since 2004, 20 years ago.
What's been the worst? Does it feel like is the mid-range shots that are shots you made for your
No, just period. It's everything. It's the rhythm. Just feel off rhythm the last few 3-4 games.
Ultimately, we have to get to a point where at this stage and point in your career, we do have to legitimately ask LeBron James what you're playing for.
I'm in absolute disbelief that I am even recording this video. And to be honest, I still think this is a knee-jerk reaction and maybe even an overreaction to a player that we've expected such a high level of play during a period of time where most players would be out of the league at his age. LeBron James is in his age 40 season. He hasn't turned 40 yet, but he will very soon. And as a result of his superhuman-like playing ability, we just expected this to continue. At the time that I'm recording this video, as a 40-year-old, LeBron James is averaging 22 points off of 48% shooting from the field, to go along with 9 assists and 8 rebounds. At the same time, his three-point percentage dipped from 41% last year to 35% this year. And as a result of a rough stretch of games, there's some people that are wondering whether or not Father Time has officially come knocking on LeBron's doorstep. And we're going to analyze all of it. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. We had so much success on Thanksgiving with the Prize Picks free square. If you followed me on Instagram, then you would have seen my pick of Tyreek Hill, Jonnu Smith, and David Montgomery, which hit for a 5x return. Our square of Josh Jacobs and Devon Achane also converted. And my favorite part about this is getting DMs like this. One of my followers made $225 out of my picks on Thanksgiving. And I got many more DMs of you guys hitting with my picks as well. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, click on my link in the description or use my promo code microphone to get $50 when you make an entry of $5 or more. We're going to be making picks for the rest of the season for the NBA and NFL, and I give away my picks for free on Instagram and Snapchat. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? We are finally witnessing what the basketball world truly thought was impossible. In his 22nd season and just weeks before his 40th birthday, LeBron James is finally showing some signs of regression and what could be the inevitable decline of his career. If there were ever to be an athlete in the history of sports that Father Time couldn't hit, it was LeBron James. But it seems like that time has come, and for the first time in my life, LeBron James looks human, and it feels a little weird. Now, originally this is a topic that I didn't really want to make a video on until things really got bad. And don't get me wrong, it was very atypical to see LeBron James underperforming to this level. And when I say underperforming, I mean over the last couple of weeks, LeBron has been on arguably the worst few game stretch of his career. Over the Lakers' last 6 games, LeBron James is averaging 16.8 points, 7.5 rebounds, 8.7 assists, and 5 turnovers per game on 40% shooting from the field and 10% shooting from 3. He also has a plus minus of negative 15.2 in those games, leading LA to a 2-4 record in that time. Now, those numbers aren't bad at all whatsoever, but for LeBron James, they're the worst of his career. I mean, he scored 10 points against the Minnesota Timberwolves to barely keep his double-digit scoring streak alive, which, by the way, has stood since 2007. He's in a massive scoring slump. In late November, LeBron tied Kyle Korver for the 7th most made three-pointers of all time at 2,450. Since he made the tying shot, he's gone a whopping 0 for 19 from behind the arc, and the threes are really ugly. He's not even coming close to making the threes. Some are barely hitting the rim, some are hitting the backboard. There's some that he's even airballing, and airballing really bad. This is a LeBron James that we've never seen before, and to be honest, it is a little concerning. Overall, on the season, LeBron is averaging averaging 22 points per game on 48% shooting, which is the worst mark he's put up since 19 years old. Now, again, if this was any other player, these would still be good numbers. And again, this is LeBron James at the age of 40. Basketball players don't look like this at this age. I mean, compare LeBron James at the end of his career to a player like Dirk Nowitzki, or even a player that even performed better than the average older player like Vince Carter. Even though LeBron has had elite scoring teammates like Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving throughout his career, the only season that he's ever averaged less than 25 points per game was actually his rookie year, until this very year. Now, take that with a grain of salt, because his playmaking numbers are higher than ever, and his usage rate is the lowest it's been in almost 20 years. But his efficiency and overall physical drive have taken a hit. When he was in Miami, it seemed like he was absolutely unstoppable when he attacked the rim. Now he's able to be slowed down by Julius Randle of all people. He still got an offensive rebound on this play, but then he literally whiffed the open layup a second later. This is not the king. This is a 39-year-old man who is showing his age, and it is harming the Lakers.
But the Lakers are supposedly a title contender. He's got a top 3 MVP candidate in Anthony Davis. He is actually impairing their ability to challenge and to threaten for an NBA title this year.
Now, this brings us all to what is going on with LeBron James. Why is this happening? And there's multiple theories that we'll get to in just a sec. Now, look, at the time that I'm recording this video, the Los Angeles Lakers are a play-in team, and they aren't at full strength either. There's certainly room for improvement, and they've been playing a completely different brand of basketball under their new head coach, JJ Redick. I mean, this is no longer LeBron James's team. The offense flows through Anthony Davis, and it's honestly beautiful to watch. Anthony Davis has been shooting 36% from 3 this year. He's an MVP candidate this year. He's averaging 28 points and 12 rebounds per game to go with 3 assists and 2 blocks. The Lakers have finally achieved what they said that they wanted to achieve for the longest time, and that's taking the load off of LeBron James and having the offense run through Anthony Davis. But the problem is the Los Angeles Lakers would be far greater than just a play-in team if LeBron James was actually playing like LeBron James. Over the last couple of games, the Lakers are much better when LeBron is off the court. But how? Let's take their game against the Timberwolves, for example. In that game, LeBron James recorded a plus-minus of -28, which first of all is insane, and second of all is the reason that they got completely blown out of the water. Per 100 possessions in that game, the Lakers were 21 points worse when LeBron James was off the court than with him on the court. And I knew that the end of LeBron James's career wouldn't be this fairy tale perfection that some expected, but I never would have guessed that he would become a liability to his own team, especially not under the best head coach he's ever had played for since his time with Eric Spoelstra. And it's not like his inefficient scoring has been the only negative during this stretch. LeBron James has been playing arguably the worst defense of his entire career as of late. Just take a look at their game against the Utah Jazz on December 1st. Here, Johnny Juzang is going to catch the ball casually at the 3-point line, not even facing the basket, but as he takes his time and turns around, he sees that LeBron James is 3 steps in front of him, giving him more than enough room to knock down the open 3. Then just 1 quarter later, LeBron James does this on a Colin Sexton fast break. I mean, where's the effort? I understand it's early season NBA basketball. I get that you're 39 years old, but you're in better shape than half of the league. You are a literal human robot who spends millions of dollars on your body a year, and you're LeBron James. You can't use age to justify laziness on the defensive side of the ball, right? Because you're LeBron James. You're not supposed to lose to Father Time. You're LeBron James. A huge part of this video is me trying to come to terms with the possibility that it could be that Father Time is knocking on LeBron James's door. And at the same time, I think it's really tough to come to grips with that, because even though I have not been a lifelong LeBron fan, I wasn't a huge fan of his during his Cleveland years because they had that little Kobe versus LeBron rivalry going on. I do think that what he's been able to achieve on the basketball court, and just as a human in general, is very admirable. I think his his dedication to his craft, the fact that he spends millions of dollars on his body each and every year to put himself in tip-top shape, him leveraging his own personal standing to get his son drafted into the Lakers, even though his son has no business being in the NBA, let's be honest. I think all of these are very impressive feats, but it seems like he may have bit off just a little bit more than he can chew. And what I mean by that is when he decided to say that he was gonna play 82 games this season. And I think this comment by his own head coach, who used to be his podcast partner, who is easily the best head coach he's ever had in his career, is what set me off to say enough is enough, it's time for me to make this video.
He does a remarkable job of taking care of his body and getting recovery. I don't know. I don't know that's in the best interest of him and us if he does that.
And a part of me is siding with JJ Redick here. It's really admirable that LeBron James wants to play in as many games as humanly possible. I mean, in an era of NBA basketball, when you're seeing Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, and some of the league's other stars taking rest on nights that they don't really need it, it's so admirable to see LeBron James trying to play 82 games for the entire season. But could it be that this is doing more harm than good for his own team?
Just the second time in his career, not since his rookie 19 season, he has a negative defensive blocks plus minus. He is actively hurting his team just by being out there on defense.
But it's more than just defense. Not only has his defense been abysmal, but he's also turning the ball over at a career high rate. I mentioned it earlier, but over this 6-game stretch, LeBron is turning the ball over 5 times per game, which is absolutely inexcusable. The only positive that comes from this is the high assist rate. But when it comes to that many turnovers, it doesn't even feel worth it. Over the whole season, LeBron has averaged 4 turnovers per game, which is less than he has over the last few weeks, but it's still the highest turnover rate of his career, other than his last 2 seasons in Cleveland when he was completely alone and led the league in minutes per game. I'm telling you guys that this is a completely different LeBron James, and I'll keep going back to this Minnesota game because it was really that bad for LeBron, but in that game, he had 6 turnovers compared to his 4 assists, and it's a rare sight to see LeBron with a negative assist to turnover ratio. That might start becoming more frequent. He's sailing passes out of bounds, throwing them right to defenders, and even getting called for charges at a high rate. He's been completely unplayable, and it's actually ruining the Lakers' chances at winning. Now look, we're recording this before LeBron James's game versus the Miami Heat, and honestly, knowing my luck, it wouldn't shock me if LeBron just came out and dropped another 30-point triple-double, because that's just what we've come to expect. But the thing is, if this is how he goes out, I really can't hold it against him. But it does bum me out because the thing is, Rob Pelinka has completely failed LeBron James over the last 3 to 4 years, completely dismantling the roster that won a championship in 2020 just because they had 3 months rest and were injured the entire season the year after, and then failing to provide LeBron and AD with any real help, trading for Russell Westbrook and then spending 2 years trying to get out of that, letting Darvin Ham stick around for way too long. LeBron James hitting this wall at 40 damn near should have been predicted by the Lakers front office and pushed them to build the most competitive roster possible, but they haven't, and now it's actually biting them in the ass. This current roster is so reliant on both LeBron and AD playing at an elite level. Guys like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and Dalton Connect would all be much worse if they didn't play next to LeBron and AD. And if one of them or both of them are off, then you can almost mark the game down as a loss. Well, all season long, Anthony Davis has been playing at an MVP level, putting up the best numbers of his career while also being healthier than he's ever been in years. Unfortunately for AD and the Lakers, LeBron James hasn't matched that, so they're losing games. It's a simple recipe, and when it's not followed, it results in losses. So if LeBron can't pick it up, then the Lakers can chase their slim championship aspirations goodbye. And this hurts me to say as a Lakers fan because I really don't want the Celtics to have more championships than us.
And yes, that championship in the Disneyland bubble counts. I don't want to hear it, comment section. It counts.
You can even make an argument that that championship was the hardest championship to win at all. You're never gonna see another championship in a bubble. We can go on and on. I'll fight you guys. I'm just kidding. I won't fight any of y'all.
All right.
But if we're getting this version of LeBron James, another championship is not happening, and it won't happen until he retires, which could be sooner than you think. This is crazy, but a year from now, we could be experiencing a LeBron James-less NBA. Now, LeBron consistently flip-flops on this topic. He said himself earlier that he wants to play 2 or 3 more years. But then Shams also came out and said that you could expect him to play only 2 more years.
This man is about to be 40 years old next month. And I found it interesting this week, he said he's not gonna play until the wheels fall off, right? And my sense is next season could potentially be his last season in the NBA.
And then LeBron also said this.
The day I can't give the game everything on the floor, the day I'll be done.
So this is tricky because he's still putting up better numbers than most of the league, but he's not putting up LeBron James numbers, and I'm sure that's messing with him. I'm sure it's also killing him that he isn't helping his team win nearly as much as he used to, because I know it's killing the Lakers and it's killing me too. The only way for this version of LeBron to make a positive impact on the Lakers is to either come off the bench, which would lower his usage rate, resulting in fewer turnovers and fewer defensive minutes, or retire after the season, which I know LeBron James doesn't want to do. When you're a top 2 player in the history of the game, going out any other way than on top isn't acceptable. You can just ask Michael Jordan, what's your final lasting memory of Michael Jordan in the NBA? Okay, originally the plan was this to be the final image that you saw of Michael Jordan in the NBA. Look, LeBron doesn't want to see the day when he isn't the king anymore, but that day might have come. Guys like Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, and Anthony Edwards have emerged as young superstars who will be on top of the league for a very long time. And at this point, there are a good amount of players in the league who are better than a 40-year-old LeBron James. That's never been the case. The league is now more talented than it has ever been, and LeBron has kept up for years and years, but it seems like it's just catching up to him now. He can't keep up with Jason Tatum anymore. He can't keep up with Luka Doncic anymore. He can't keep up with Giannis Antetokounmpo anymore. Despite his amazing start to the season, he just can't. He said before the season started that he wanted to play all 82 games, but that's looking more and more unlikely each and every game. Not only because he's running out of energy, but also because of how good the Lakers are without him. It's a shame, but maybe JJ Redick needs to give LeBron a little break just to see where the team stands without him, and maybe give LeBron that spark that he needs to return to form. If you ask me, I think the best solution for LeBron James here is next year opt out of your contract and sign for significantly less money so the Lakers could go out and actually get you some help. He was very close to doing that this past offseason. He wanted to take a pay cut so the Lakers could pursue James Harden or Klay Thompson, but the Lakers couldn't get anyone that was interested to play for them. But it's the same principle that applies to Russell Westbrook that also applies to LeBron James. Whenever you're a player that is making $52 million for the year, you're expected to average 25 points per game at minimum. You're expected to be a top 15 player in the NBA. You're expected to be superhuman on a basketball court, and throughout his entire career, LeBron James has. And to be honest, it wouldn't shock me if LeBron James continues to be. It's just so out of character to see a slump over this stretch of games from one of the greatest players of all time. If LeBron were to retire after the season, we would have witnessed the most dominant 22 years any athlete has ever had, and nobody would ever forget what he brought to the game. But it would be a damn shame if he retired after a disappointing season. So hopefully this slump that he's in doesn't mean the end of LeBron James as we know him, because I don't know about you, but I'm just not ready to see him go out like this yet. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think this is the end of LeBron James? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.